I liked it. I liked it. It's not a bad book. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is April, and today I'm going to go over the worst books I read in 2022, according to Goodreads. I don't know that all of these are going to be that terrible, but some of them could be. First, I'm going to sort the average rating by lowest first, and then I'm going to find all my 2022 reads. Hopefully I can keep track of counting this time. The first worst book is Anna and the Apocalypse by Katherine Turner. It gets a 3.18 star on Goodreads, and I think that's fair. It was a 3-star book for me. The movie, the musical, way better. Way better. Just don't read the book, just watch the musical. It is one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's with a bunch of school-age high schoolers, then there's a zombie apocalypse that breaks out. Because that happens. The second worst book, Not Your Average Hot Guy by Gwenda Bond. Yeah, I agree with this. This one was, I wanted it to be so much better than it was. This girl summons a demon. She just wants a random demon, but somehow she summons Luke Morningstar, the Prince of Hell, and he's got to like prove himself somehow. I don't remember, but it was average. It was average. So I'll give it to Goodreads on that one. The third book that's at the bottom of the list. It is Hot Under His Collar by Andy J. Christopher. This was a priest romance, and it was very light on the romance, and it just was meh. So yeah, I also gave it 3 stars. The fourth worst book is Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match by Sally Thorne. This killed me because I wanted to love this, and it has that same Sally Thorne humor in it that I really love. I have loved all of her books. She's in Victorian times, and she is Victor Frankenstein's sister, and they're both making their perfect person. And her being in love with her monster was weird for me. It had a very necrophilia feel to me. I don't know. To me, I think it just had way too much going on, and if it was a little bit simpler story, it would have been a lot better. The fourth worst book, I'm not even sure if it's out yet. It is My Dearest Duke, and this is by another new to me author, Kristen Vaden. It was, the main characters were cute. They had really good communication between each other, but I was so bored. And then unfortunately it was like no steam. I don't like to call it a clean romance, but it was a very chaste romance. There was basically none in it. And for me, that's a little hard to swallow, like when they don't do anything physical together, like barely kiss. And forget it. 2 stars all the time. I want to be like, that's not the person I am. I don't just read romance for the smut, but I kind of do. The fifth worst book that I read, which I guess I didn't read because I DNF'd it, was Persephone Station, and this is by Stina Leicht, and it has the most gorgeous cover. Like, I bought this book, and it's an adult sci-fi book, which means it was probably $25 at Barnes & Noble, and I could not even get past the second page. It was just one of those immediate books that I knew I wasn't gonna like. I mean, it does have a very strong cast of characters, but the plot, I couldn't even tell you. I was so confused. I was just immediately confused. And I hate being confused in books because it makes me feel dumb. Nobody wants to feel dumb when they're reading. Nobody wants to feel dumb at any point in their lives. So I was just like, life is too short. I'm gonna not read this one. The sixth worst book, according to Goodreads. I am shocked that this is considered a bad book. because I don't think it was a bad book. I gave it 4 stars. Four Aunties and a Wedding by Jessie Sutano. I could see how people were disappointed in this series because it's not a romance. It's definitely more like a family literary fiction type thing, but not like a boring literary fiction. It is definitely a comedy. The aunts are the best thing about this series because they have, it's like super hijinks. There's hijinks on steroids in this book, and I live for it. I love it. The first book, they're hiding a dead body at a wedding. They're just carting this body all over the place. It's really enjoyable. I really think you should give this a shot because it's just, it's so funny. And then obviously the characters are great. It definitely deserves to be higher, I think, in the ratings. The 6th worst book I read, according to Goodreads. Another one that I don't think is a bad book at all. It just was definitely not as good as the first one. And this is When Night Breaks, and this is by Janella Angeles. I really loved the first book in this series. It's definitely like a Phantom of the Opera and what is that movie? Moulin Rouge, like that together. It 100% I felt all those vibes, and it's very magical. But this second book was just, it kind of fell a little flat for me, and I did finish it and I did like it, but it just wasn't, the magic of the first one wasn't there for me. What are we on? 7? We're on 7. 7th book, please. I can see why this is on this list, but the 7th worst book is The Kraken Sacrifice by Katie Robert. I give it a 3. I was fine with it. It was enjoyable. I don't think these books are amazing by any means, but the covers are. The covers are my favorite covers of the year, for sure. And I will buy every single book of this because of the covers. But the story, I mean, there's tentacles involved. Come on. I can't hate it because there's tentacles. I love it. I loved it. I didn't love it. I thought it was great. I did give it a 3. They're just really short and they need to be longer. That's all. Oh, I'm actually surprised by this one. The 8th best book I read is The Duke Goes Down by Sophie Jordan. I also enjoyed this. I did give it a 3, but it wasn't bad at all. All I know about this one is that the title is true to its word. He does indeed go down. I don't remember it, so maybe that's why it gets a 3. What did I say about it? Yeah, the main characters weren't quite it for me. I don't even remember them. So they just weren't memorable. I do like Sophie Jordan's books though. The 8th? 9th? We'll go with 9. The 9th worst book is Comfort Me with Apples, and this is by Catherine M. Valenti. I think this can't be the same author as the Zodiac Academy, right? No, it's spelled differently. I'm going to go with no. This one was an interesting story. Again, another short one. And it's kind of following a Stepford wife who, you know, is trying to be the perfect wife to her husband. Her husband goes off and does God knows what. And slowly you see that something is wrong. She keeps finding body parts around her house. And that raises some red flags, of course. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really interesting. It has a very, nope, I can't say that. It'll give it away. I liked it. It's not a bad book. And the last worst book that I read, according to Goodreads, The Scoundrel Falls Hard by, again, Sophie Jordan. Sophie, why are you on here twice? Yeah, I also didn't really like this book. I gave it 2 stars. It had so much potential. Tall girl, lady blacksmith. He is a runaway duke, like running away from a mob, and they get fake married to kind of settle the people. And it just, it wasn't believable for me. It was a little boring. It was, it just didn't work for me in a lot of ways. I needed more hijinks from this, I think, especially when you have a premise like the Duke is like running into the smithy shop and the people are chasing him with pitchforks and stuff. Like, I just needed a little bit more from it. I think it was an expectations thing, but it was fine. You may like it. So those were all the worst books I read in 2022, according to Goodreads. What do you think? What do you think about the worst books? Let me know. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Okay, bye.